Welcome to Nonsense, Season 4, Episode 36, our big story. I'm Jeff Parker.
I'm CJ Little.
This time we're looking at Task Failed Successfully, the science of happy accidents. Up next.
Happy Accidents was the name my parents were going to give me when I was born. True story.
Before we go further, I just want to say we didn't have a show 2 days ago because you were moving your container cars. You were very busy and doing cool things.
Containers. They're shipping containers. They're 20-foot ISO shipping containers.
Anyway, you were moving these things from point A to point B, and so you were very busy.
They're big and heavy.
I want to thank you for coming in today for this show.
Yes.
And this one is intentionally kind of a layup. It's sort of an easy topic.
Containers are just giant Lego bricks you can put more crap in.
Yeah.
That's really how to think of them. And they're pretty awesome. But yes, and I even took a shower before I came over, so I'm slightly less grungy than normal.
Fantastic. So we're talking about things where science made an error or did something unexpected.
Yes.
Was able to discover something in a way they did not expect to discover something.
And this is where I'm going to shine because I'm an expert on failing successfully. No one can fail as fast as me.
Everybody needs goals.
No one.
Okay, when science trips and falls, sometimes into a Nobel Prize. Let's go.
I always love my science with a broken hip.
Science isn't always a straight line to discovery. Often it's a stumbling block that strikes gold. History's greatest breakthroughs frequently hid in the shadows of failed experiments. Consider penicillin, a forgotten petri dish turned into a life-saving antibiotic.
Man, I haven't considered penicillin since college.
Or Teflon, born from a gas cylinder that refused to empty.
Do you even listen to our show? I've been trying to forget about Teflon for weeks now.
Think of the cosmic microwave background. The universe's origin story found only because two astronomers couldn't fix a persistent hiss.
Persistent hiss is how my wife refers to my attempts at conversation.
Yeah.
10 years. We made it, everybody.
Even the Post-it note arose from a weak adhesive nobody wanted. These aren't just mistakes, they're serendipitous gifts. When rigid plans fail, keen observation takes over. Nature loves to keep secrets, and sometimes the best way to find the truth is to look where you never intended to go.
This is like literally my favorite part of science.
Yes.
It's like you just try things, you postulate things, and you try stuff. You get it wrong, you make improvements, you keep doing it until you get it right. And this is that weird off-ramp that happens where sometimes the output of what you do is something completely different that you didn't intend to do.
Oh, yeah.
It isn't the only kind of invention, but I think it is one of the most interesting types of inventions and inventors. They didn't set out to make a thing and invent the thing. They set out to make something and invented something completely different. Like typically,
or a byproduct of that thing turned out to be
something
wonderful.
Completely orthogonal. Like
literally, the guy who invented stainless steel was trying to make a gun barrel.
Oh, that's right.
In his scrap heap, he discovered this combination of things that he'd put together. Well, how come it doesn't rust? How come it never tarnishes?
I find this amazing. And we did want something here that I thought was a little fun, especially as we're going into summer. The ones that I kind of knew I didn't want to bring up because those aren't as much fun for me.
Yeah.
Some of these are downright concerning to amazing.
Yes.
Like that's the spectrum I have of ones that I've found. So I think as we typically do on the show, the idea was I'll do a couple, you'll do a couple, we'll sort of go back and forth. Is that what you want to do here?
That's perfect. And mine are mostly medical because I found some weird medical things that really worked out nicely for us.
Okay, the medical ones I think are even more interesting because remember somewhere at some point somebody has to go, no, you take it.
Some of these stories are heartbreaking, but yes, some of them are also like, wow, you did what?
So good news, none of mine are medical, but a lot of mine do have the like, wait, what? Like, because who goes first? Am I going first? You going first?
You go first.
I'll go first. Okay. I'm kind of starting with one of my favorites.
Yeah.
I'm going to call this When Mr. Goodbar Went Soft.
Okay. All right, good.
It's the best title I can come up with. This is like the mid-40s, okay? A gentleman by the name of Percy Spencer, not the train, by the same name.
Yeah.
Percy Spencer. He was trying to build magnetrons for military radar systems, right? This is during World War II. Now, we sort of knew magnetrons already. We had this since like the late 20s, I think early 30s. We didn't know them well, but we sort of already had that invention. He was trying to apply them to radar. And he noticed when standing next to an active radar array, Spencer noticed that the Mr. Goodbar in his pocket had turned into liquid sludge. Now think about this for a moment.
Okay.
He had a candy bar in his pocket.
Did he also notice his babies had 8 arms?
That liquefied. This was, of course, the heating effect of the microwave beam. And no one had noticed that it would warm food, right? Or really it's warming water molecules. And this is while he was employed at Raytheon. The microwaves from this active radar set were cooking things.
How cold were Percy's legs? If I put a chocolate bar in my pocket right now, I guarantee you I can melt it.
First of all, I mean, funny you say you think legs. I immediately assumed like chest pocket.
Oh, maybe.
But I actually don't know the answer to that. That's really interesting. I just assumed chest pocket, but yeah, maybe you're right.
That would make more sense, chest pocket, because it would be less odd that the chocolate would melt.
Well, no.
In your pants pocket, I think the chocolate's going to melt.
It doesn't make more sense because if it's in your chest pocket, I'm like, how did this guy not succumb to the radiation? If it's in your pants pocket, maybe that does make more sense.
You stand a chance.
I also don't know where pockets were in the 40s. Like, were they on your mid-thigh? I have no idea what pants looked like. Okay, so he observes that the chocolate is melting. He then went and I think the first thing he tried was popcorn.
Oh, wow.
Which I think is really interesting.
Wow.
The second thing he tried was an egg. What happens when you microwave an egg?
You get scrambled eggs.
It explodes. He literally exploded an egg. So again, this is like 1945.
Yeah.
I am assuming that I did not confirm this. I'm assuming the third thing he microwaved was a CD.
What happens when you microwave a CD?
Oh, you don't know this? No, it's like a meme.
No.
You put it in, and you get like a little electrical storm in there, and it destroys the CD.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was 1945. There were no CDs.
Which led to the creation of, that's the thing, you're not expecting this.
Yes.
Led to the creation of Formula 409 so that he could clean the magnetometer from all the debris he'd splattered all over it.
That you'd spritzed on it? Yeah, totally. This ended up with the company Raytheon that he was working for filing a patent for the microwave cooking process. They even created one to place in a Boston restaurant to test.
Did they bother to put any sort of box around it to contain
that was actually his, I'd say the part of his invention that was the most interesting was putting it in a box so that they couldn't escape, so that the waves couldn't escape, right? That's the part that really made this thing work.
By the way, they do escape. They just escape. Don't put your face up against the microwave oven.
Yes.
A small amount of them are escaping. There's no way around it. Take a Geiger counter and you'll see that that box is not holding in everything.
Yeah. Plus, by the way, just be far away. Like, you don't have to be that far away. The intensity decreases with a square of the distance, so you want to be farther away. But listen to this. The first commercialized unit of the microwave oven, it's $60,000 in today's dollar. The original commercial unit, right? They patented it as the radar range, is what they called it. Radar range. Okay. So they put radar in the name. It was the size of a refrigerator. It weighed 750 pounds.
Wow.
It cost $5,000 in late 1940s money. So that's like roughly $60,000 today.
Okay.
Its sole purpose was to microwave things. Like, that's it. It was the size of a refrigerator.
Well, that's the sole purpose of my microwave too. I get it.
No, I mean, it's also very good at blowing things up and, makes popcorn. I don't think it's going to have a popcorn button on it. I just love thinking about this as like having to take out a second mortgage in order to reheat a Hot Pocket. That's
exactly
how I put this in my brain. So that's the microwave oven mid-40s.
So was it mostly used in restaurants? Was it mostly a commercial thing?
Well, who could afford a $5,000 radar range, right? So I think that's where it started. And then, of course, by the 60s and 70s, I think really in the 70s is when they became
pretty cool.
Prolific in everyone's homes.
Wow.
Pretty cool. Radar came from radar array installations and also him detecting a liquid Goodbar in his pocket.
Yeah.
Amazing. Your turn.
My first one is a vaccination.
Okay.
Before this guy, Edward Jenner, came along, this practice was variolation, which was you injected healthy people with small amounts of, say, for example, smallpox.
Yep.
And that
then
gave them some protection if it worked. But most of the time, it causes severe illness or death. You actually get
Smallpox.
the virus.
Yeah.
Yes. Imagine all of the people who they were experimenting on who they killed.
Yes.
I mean, this is one of the crazy things about all these medical experiments was how insanely risky all of these things were.
Of course.
So this guy, Edward Jenner, had heard of this town in Gloucestershire where it was well known that among the farmers and the local doctors that people who contracted cowpox, which is a mild disease from cattle, seemed immune to smallpox.
Oh, interesting.
So he went there. On May 14th, 1796, Jenner took fluid from a cowpox lesion on the hand of a dairymaid named Sarah Nelms.
Okay.
And he inoculated an 8-year-old boy. Oh. He took stuff from the sore on her hand.
Oh, no.
A lesion. And he said, hey, let's go inject this in an 8-year-old boy.
Yeah.
He injects this into an 8-year-old boy. This is what I'm saying. Medicine is freaky.
Yeah.
James Phillips.
Yeah.
And he injects Phillips with the material. So he gets a mild version of cowpox, of course, and he gets over it very quickly.
Okay.
And so Jenner, not having done enough damage to this poor boy's life, injecting him with stuff from somebody else's sore, then attempts to challenge the boy's system by exposing him to the smallpox virus.
Oh, geez.
So he injects some smallpox virus into the boy.
I was going to say, how do you know that he was... Yeah, okay. Okay. That was the missing piece of the puzzle that I clearly now didn't want to know, but I'm glad I know it now. Thanks a lot.
Fortunately, little James Phillips did not develop the disease.
No, but this is how you create supervillains. This is...
And think of all the doctors we don't know because of things they did wrong, of all the people that they killed in animals and things. It's absolutely crazy.
Yes.
Jenner faced intense skepticism because nobody believed that animal-derived material was going to have any lasting effect.
Sure.
It was not going to be the same kind of proof of lifelong immunity that you might get from human viruses injecting actual smallpox into young boys, which it was kind of like not really taken too seriously.
Yeah.
He wrote all of his findings in an inquiry into the causes and effects of variola vaccinae, which gave the necessary scientific foundation eventually to win over the medical community.
No, I appreciate that, but I don't, when your scientific method is walking around with a syringe to people with lesions.
Injecting people with stuff.
No. I just think even the ask part.
Oh, yeah.
Where you're like, hey, you gonna use all that lesion? Can I
have some of that lesion?
Can I have some of that lesion, please? I got some little boys I want to go test this on.
I'm going to go put it in.
I just want to see what happens.
His work shifted the paradigm of medicine from treating disease to preventing.
Yeah.
And his efforts led the way to the global eradication of smallpox, which was officially declared successful by the World Health Organization in 1980.
And then subsequently died in the mid-2020s.
Well, yeah.
Thanks. I mean, it gave us a good period of time, but this is the whole standing on the shoulders of giants, right?
Or standing on the shoulders of idiots. I mean, I'm going to take some of the stuff from your lesion here and I'm going to put it in this little 8-year-old boy who's not otherwise sick.
That's not idiotic, though,
And by the way, now that I've done this once and it worked out okay, you got a little cowpox and you got over it. Now that I've done that to him, hey, let's go ahead and put full-on smallpox into this kid.
Yeah, I mean, look, he was right. They don't tell stories about the ones that were wrong. They tell stories about the ones that were right. But you had, that was one of the giants. So you're standing on the shoulders of these folks that have done these things, but they took a lot of risks, and it's not great, but it got us where we are.
Wow, the risks they all took.
This is part of why I don't get too grumpy over the drawn-out drug approval process that we have now, because it is designed with safety and efficacy in mind. So you don't end up with like bloodletting and a bunch of people being killed from lethal dosing because no one tried to figure it out.
Your move, sir.
Okay, that's fascinating. I see how this is going to go. You're going to be doing the serious ones, and I'm going to be doing the less serious ones.
The goofy ones?
I mean, they're not... Okay, you'll let you decide. This one I'm calling the Great Pigeon Poop Epiphany. This is sort of what I'm titling.
Pigeon Poop Epiphany.
Pigeon Poop.
Okay.
Pigeon Poop. This is the mid-60s. I think you might know this one. There were these two gentlemen, Arno Penzias and Robert Wilson.
Okay.
They had access to this massive antenna, this massive horn antenna.
Okay.
It was, if I understand the story correctly, Bell Labs had used it previously to talk to one of, I think it was actually the first communication satellite we put in orbit, Echo. And they were using it to talk to Echo. They no longer needed it.
Okay.
So they gave it to these guys, Bell Labs back in the day, they just had a whole bunch of people that did research and they said, do something with it. Have something fun.
Figure something out.
So they were trying to get radio signals from space. And as they were tuning it, they were not the first people to do this, right? Other folks have listened to space at this point. As they were tuning it, they kept hearing this noise, this like constant noise. It was this hiss.
Yeah.
And it would not go away. They, as science does, create a hypothesis of what it could be, and then they try to eliminate it. So they went and they taped over all the hard edges on the horn. They made sure it was aligned correctly. They thought that maybe it was local interference. They eliminated everything. They got to the point where they thought it must have been the bird poop. There was a small group of pigeons that had nested in this thing.
Yes.
These two scientists go out and clean the bird poop. Okay. They were in their paper. They referred to it as a quote, white dielectric material.
Okay.
It was literally pigeon poop. They cleaned it off. They were out of options at this point, and the hiss was still there. They could not figure out what this hiss was. Well, as it turns out, at the exact same time, you had several folks, including a team of theoretical physicists that were nearby at Princeton. Okay, these guys were Wilson and Penzias were in Jersey. There was some theoretical physicists in Princeton that were actively trying to secure millions of dollars in funding to build an antenna, basically build an experiment just like this. These guys had no idea this was happening at the same time. What they had discovered was the cosmic microwave background radiation from the universe. This was the origin of the Big Bang. This was the
echoes of the Big Bang. Yes.
And they had literally discovered this, and they were trying to eliminate it. They thought it was hiss. They thought it was this background noise. And the part that's the kind of the two most crazy things about this is Penzias and Wilson won the 1978 Nobel Prize in Physics for this, right? Because they proved, right? They fundamentally proved how the universe began. Right? This echo of the Big Bang. Because they were trying to fix what they thought was broken equipment by cleaning poop off it.
They could have just figured out the high pass filter and never discovered that it was the origins of the Big Bang.
Never discovered his background radiation. Totally. By the way, I think that's what a lot of people at the time did. They just ignored it as like, oh, it's just noise in the equipment.
Of course.
The other part that I find somewhat fascinating is you had at least, to my knowledge, 2 or 3 other sets of researchers that had postulated this and were trying to figure it out at the time. And they didn't because these two guys kind of stumbled into it, right? They had the right equipment. They had access to the right equipment. They just listened to it and didn't accept a shrug as an answer. And they beat them to the Nobel Prize. Any of these other guys were ultimately more likely to win the Nobel Prize for this because whoever figured this out was getting one. Like, you're pretty sure of that. But it was these two dudes with a broken antenna, or what they thought was a broken antenna, that got there.
Sure.
So yeah, pigeon poop got us the origins of the Big Bang. That's kind of how you think of that one.
I still get hissing on my radios from pigeon poop.
Do you clean it off? No, you leave it on. You're pro bird.
No, I leave it on. I let it stack.
Yeah,
up.
exactly. It's Los Angeles. Lots of poop.
It's going to happen.
Was that silly or serious? I don't know. It was a little bit of both. Mainly silly.
Well, that wasn't silly. That's the origins of the universe. There's nothing silly about that. It was an important discovery.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. The science behind it is awesome. Okay, your turn.
All right, I'm on vaccines again. I got one more vaccine when this is Louis Pasteur.
Okay.
There was a chicken cholera that was going around. And
Okay.
some of this, you wonder why does he inject a little boy with stuff?
Sure.
It's because desperate times, desperate measures. You're
Yeah, of
scrambling
course.
to help people figure out how to help people survive.
Yeah.
There was a bacteria that was going around in French poultry farms that was incredibly lethal.
Okay.
And so you inject chickens with it as he's testing this bacteria. It means certain death.
Okay.
In the summer of 1879, Pasteur took a vacation. He instructed his assistant, Charles Chamberlain, to inject a batch of chickens with a fresh bacterial culture before leaving. Chamberlain forgot and went on his own vacation, leaving the bacteria cultures sitting out on the lab bench exposed to the air for several weeks.
Oops.
What happened when he returned? Chamberlain injected the chickens with these old, spoiled cultures.
So Chamberlain got back and just picked up where he left off and was like, oh, crap, I forgot to do the thing.
They didn't know what exactly would happen to the virus if you left it sitting out exposed to oxygen.
Okay.
The chickens became mildly ill and then recovered.
Okay.
And they thought the culture was ruined and start fresh. And Pasteur stopped him. He said, go ahead and inject the recovered chickens plus a new group of completely healthy chickens with a fresh lethal batch of cholera bacteria. So the results, the new chickens died quickly. The previously exposed chickens remained completely healthy. Pasteur realized exposure to oxygen over time had weakened the bacteria, allowing the chicken's immune system to fight off and build some defense without being killed.
Oh, interesting.
They literally invented attenuated bacteria, meaning to make thin or weak.
I didn't know this one.
They actually figured out how they could make a vaccination from making a weaker version.
You just leave it out in the sun?
Instead of injecting kids with smallpox that was live, full-strength smallpox, expose it to some oxygen for a while so it's a very weak version.
Yeah, literally. The answer was make it like stale bread. Just put it out in the sun for a little while.
Well, expose it to oxygen so it decomposes a little bit.
Yeah.
So it degrades.
Well, yeah, this is exactly what happens to my crackers. Yeah. Like they're not bad. They're just not as good as they were when they were fresh. They just did that. That is fascinating.
So he found he could attenuate pathogens several different ways.
Yeah.
Then they tried it with anthrax.
Oh, geez. They jumped right to anthrax?
Right, which kills cows and sheep and things like this.
There's like 1,000 steps in between.
They called a bunch of people, journalists, veterinarians, critics, all sorts of people.
Sniff this white powder. See what happens.
He got 50 sheep. He vaccinated 25 of them with his attenuated anthrax vaccines, and he left 25 unvaccinated. And a few weeks later, all 50 sheep were injected with a lethal dose of virulent anthrax. I know, these people are just freaks.
Bye-bye black sheep.
Again,
that's what that is.
Desperate times for desperate measures.
Let me guess, 25 didn't make it.
Exactly. 2 days later, a massive crowd gathered. All 25 unvaccinated sheep were dead or dying. All 25 vaccinated sheep were completely healthy, grazing in the pasture. It was a stunning public relations and scientific breakthrough.
And I'm pretty sure, what year is this?
The next test happened in 1885, which was rabies.
Hold my beer. Anthrax to rabies?
Right. 100% fatal virus. Scientists couldn't even see it with a microscope because it was so small at the time. You could grow it in a petri dish like bacteria. So he attenuated the virus by drying the spinal cords of infected rabbits in sterile flasks using potassium hydroxide as the drying agent.
I mean, that's how I would have done it,
The longer the cord had dried, the weaker the virus became.
Sure.
A 9-year-old boy.
What? We didn't go to animals? Which ones were the... Man, it was not a good time to be an 8 or 9-year-old boy.
I know. Named Joseph Meister. Was brought to Pasteur. He'd been brutally mauled by a rabid dog and faced certain death. Pasteur was a chemist. He was not a licensed physician. Treating humans with experimental vaccines created massive legal and ethical risks. Knowing the boy would die without intervention, Pasteur agreed to treat him. Over 10 days, Pasteur gave the boy 13 injections, starting with the most weakened viral strains and gradually increasing to the fully virulent virus. Meister never developed rabies and survived.
Interesting. It seems like it would have been too late. He was already exposed to a heavy dose of the virus when he was mauled. I'm speculating here.
But he did not die. He survived. He built up immunity to it.
Interesting. Again, supervillain.
Totally.
The whole process and approach. I kind of feel like, though, like I appreciate that Pasteur did all the work on this. Chamberlain should probably get more of the credit. Like his whatever procrastination or forgetfulness or just desire to go to the south of France.
Chamberlain should get more credit because he went on vacation and forgot to inject the chickens.
Yeah.
So actual experimentation on a human being, which is crazy.
I'm physically uncomfortable right now after you told that story, but
all these medical ones, I mean, it gets better. It gets better. It gets worse, but
I hope it gets better. But I'm like literally like, I feel like I just watched an episode of Curb Your Enthusiasm. That's how uncomfortable I feel right now, just hearing that story.
Oh, a lot of it. Yeah. It's literally just, it's trial and error. And it's, well, I mean, in this case, the kid was going to die. Otherwise, they were sure he was going to die.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. What better than he's probably going to die than let's just ensure he's going to die by shooting him with some rabies.
He lived.
Let's just make it. Oh.
Hey, listen, I don't mean to be a bummer, but we both have to get out of here. But I know you have more stories to tell. I certainly have more stories in my stack to tell. Can we make this a two-parter? Would that be okay?
Yes.
All right. Also, I want to do one where we talk about scientific oddities.
Yeah.
Listen, have you seen or read anything good this last week?
Well, I've got an easy one that is great, and I think it really fits with what we're doing here. It's the 2013 documentary Particle Fever.
Oh, yeah.
It tracks the initial Large Hadron Collider, the LHC.
Yeah.
These are the experiments at CERN from 2008 to 2012, ultimately culminating in the Higgs-boson discovery, which was, about 10, 15 years ago?
Sure.
What I love about the documentary is that effectively half the physicists want to prove supersymmetry, which means the universe is elegant and orderly. The other half leaned more towards the multiverse, which is the universe is chaotic and random. When they finally find the Higgs boson, the mass is the exact dead center, rendering both sides completely frustrated. Like you got, not only do you not get closer, you actually got farther away because you're just saying it's right in the middle, which left everyone's theory up in the air. So it's a beautiful, funny look at scientists getting an unexpected answer that makes ultimately their jobs harder.
Fascinating.
That's 2013's Particle Fever. How about you?
If we're talking about crazy science and science accidents, my rec has to be Mel Brooks' masterpiece, Young Frankenstein.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Dr. Frederick Frankenstein, played by the legendary Gene Wilder, rejects his grandfather's infamous legacy only to be seduced by the dark allure of Transylvania. Alongside the eccentric Igor, played by Marty Feldman, and the devoted Inga, Frederick embarks on forbidden scientific discovery. Using high-voltage reanimation and unorthodox surgical techniques, they strive to master life itself. Disaster strikes when a simple laboratory accident leads to the insertion of an abnormal brain into their massive creation portrayed by Peter Boyle. The result is a chaotic, hilariously subversion of the classic monster myth. Now, licensing complexities following Disney's acquisition of 20th Century Fox has made this movie nearly impossible to stream right now. But it's worth seeing in a theater with a crowd if you can find a showing. It is hilarious. Young Frankenstein, you'll laugh hard, even if you've seen it 100 times. I certainly do.
I've never seen Young Frankenstein all the way through.
You are in for such a treat.
I need to watch this film. There's several Brooks films I've never seen all the way through, and this is one of them. I always see bits of it, and I don't get the bit, so I never watch the whole thing. I have to start at the beginning and sit all the way through to the end.
It's so good. They almost didn't even put in the putting on the Ritz part. Mel Brooks didn't have any interest in it, didn't really get it, didn't understand it, and Gene Wilder fought hard enough for it. And Mel Brooks was like, I just want to know if you'd fight hard enough for it.
Awesome.
When I see it in the theater and they get to that sequence, I'm crying. I'm laughing so hard.
I love it.
It's so funny.
I feel like this is a film that Tarantino would screen at his theater on Fairfax, and if he shows this, we need to go see it. I'd love to see it projected.
Go see it anywhere you can see it projected and see it with a crowd, because it's really, really fun. And if you can someday stream it again, do it there. But right now, that's a little bit difficult.
Hello, torrents.
That is the episode.
Thank you for joining us for all this nonsense. A truly terrible podcast from The Awful Company. Visit us on the web at nonsense.productions. I'm CJ Little.
I'm Jeff Parker.
If you like this program, please follow, download, subscribe, and like at Apple Podcasts, YouTube Music, Amazon Music, AntennaPod, iHeartRadio, Spotify, my favorite Overcast, or wherever you may get your podcasts from.
Nonsense uses Linux. In 1991, a Finnish university student named Linus Torvalds was frustrated with Minix and wanted a terminal emulator that could better access his university's Unix servers. He ended up writing a basic operating system kernel purely as a personal hobby project. Because he open sourced it and adopted the GNU General Public License, thousands of developers started contributing. That unprofessional hobby accidentally became Linux, which now runs 100% of the world's top 500 supercomputers and the vast majority of the internet's servers, Android smartphones, and the International Space Station. Torvalds even titled his autobiography just for fun, The Story of an Accidental Revolutionary. Linux, a happy accident that completely changed the computing world.
There's a part of me that wants the ISS to be deployed on Windows, just so that I could see when they're like, sorry, can't do any science today, we're updating the ISS. And it'd be running like 2000.
Sure.
Like the last stable version of Windows. It'd be running Windows 2000 is what they'd totally be running.
We have a leak in the ship, but we can't deal with that. We're rebooting our Windows.
You think the air leak's bad, the memory leak's worse. We'll be here every Tuesday and Thursday morning for more nonsense. Please join us. I also love all of the ISS being powered by Visual Basic. And even the Apollo guys are like, really?
I'm not going up there. No way.
I'm not going up there.
I'm not going near that thing.
No way.
Hard no.
Hard no. What is that, VB6? Even then it was a bad idea. Nope. Staying right here.